think it's just us being us, man. I think that we look forward to the moments, when it's crunch time and we come together and make big plays. It's exciting, especially here at Gainbridge. So I think we're just doing what we're accustomed to doing. We're building these habits early and just continue to flow with it.
Well, how are you feeling at the end of the game, Myles, with the big block, a bunch of buckets go in, game-saving plays? How did that all feel for you in this one?
I feel great. It's another day at the office. I think I'm the best at what I do. My team backed me at that, and, we took care of business.
Yesterday, or Friday, Rick was talking about how big the jump ball that Aaron Nesmith had was. There were a couple moments in this game that guided you guys down the stretch. How important are moments, especially in a home game, to propelling you to a win?
Sorry, say that again. No, I got you. No, man, I think
My fault.
I think that it just all comes down to what we have in this locker room. It really does, man. I think Rick does a great job of, being the head of the snake with this, but we have a group of guys that are, ready to go to war every night. We work on ourselves daily, and we built that chemistry so early, and it's a great thing to, here down the stretch, just be halfway through the season. So, we just got to continue to keep doing what we're doing.
Drew, it seems like you've been looking for your own shot a little bit more lately, or at least the ball's been finding you in shot opportunities more. Has that been sort of a point of emphasis to kind of look for more of those opportunities and get some more of those shots?
Definitely. I think it's like coming in as a different role, playing off the ball. I'm trying to just find my balance of when to be aggressive, when to just understand when to make a play to kind of keep the ball moving. So I think the last couple of games I've kind of found a little bit better balance, for sure.
Myles, to go back to the moments, how much did, each defensive play build on the other? Starting with Buddy's block, going to yours. I mean, was there sort of more momentum on sort of each defensive possession there, and how much did one spark the other?
Absolutely. Momentum is a key thing down the stretch. When we're at home and we just hear the fans and how loud they get after you make play after play after play, it just all builds on each other, like you just said. And you got to give credit where credit's due for them. I mean, I think that just naturally amps us up and wants us to, and it gets us to continue to keep getting them stops.
Rick talked a lot about how much more sort of responsibility is on you with a smaller lineup. Obviously, like you said, you feel like you're the best at what you do at being back there and being a rim protector, blocking shots. I mean, do you feel like the rules changed? Has anything been sort of emphasized in any way? I mean, like what is different for you, or what I guess also allows you to stand out more with a small lineup? Obviously, some guys are really good defenders, but ultimately just a group that is smaller.
I think a big thing we talk about with this group is trust, and just letting them know that I have their back, and they got to trust that I'm there to have theirs. So. And I think that's what it all comes down to. When we do go small ball and they do get beat, I'm there. That guy comes down and is able to crack my man, and it's a simplicity in our defensive principles.
You guys are midway through the season now, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I guess if you were to say one area where you'd really like to see this team still improve, what would that be?
Well, given you can't improve upon youth, I think that the biggest thing for us to do is just continue to bear down on the road. I think a lot of these rookies, like, Drew himself, haven't really experienced that rookie wall yet. And I think that that's something that can happen with a team when you have younger guys who are playing extended minutes, who haven't played that in the past, and continue to work on ourselves, work on our bodies. And if anything, just bearing down the road. I think that'd be a big thing for us.
Myles, to build off that, let's go back. 23 wins in this midway point. What do you like most about what you've been able to do in such a short time?
I speak on the chemistry a lot. I think that, we've really been able to come together and just work and just put our heads down and work. That's what we're about. That's what the city's about, and I think we represent that.
And take me back to that block, that emotion that poured out of you afterward. What was racing through your mind at that moment?
Night. I guess I was ready to go home. At that point, we got it done, and I still got some. What time is it? Anybody? 8 o'clock. Still got the rest of my evening left. So,
Andrew, to get sort of the flip side of what I asked him about playing with a small lineup, how much does he help you guys as far as what you can trust? Especially like you said, being able to gamble a little bit more. As somebody who's always taking one of the toughest perimeter assignments, what has he meant for you as a rookie that's getting those kind of assignments, knowing he's back there behind you?
100%. He talked about the trust, and I think like having a small lineup where we could switch and get aggressive and just kind of try to make it tough on guys, knowing that when we get beat or if we give them a little edge, that Myles is going to be there and weak side help's going to be there. I think it's huge for us. So and that's why I feel like I could be so aggressive on the ball.
Myles, this team really struggled to close games last year, and this year you guys win seemingly all of them. What do you feel like the biggest difference has been for you guys in these kind of games?
Just trust. I'm telling you, man. There's no ego in this locker room. Like, not at all. It's easy for, us to try to fall into the hype. A couple individual players are making some great plays or playing well, then outside noise starts to creep in. I think that's the most toxic thing that can happen to a locker room. And I think that we've done a great job of nipping that in the bud early and just keeping our minds on the prize, keeping our eyes on the prize at that. So just, just that overall, the overall character we have on this team.
Andrew, Myles spoke to the youth on this team. I've talked to Tyrese a lot about that too. I guess, can you speak to Myles as a leader in this locker room, and what has he meant to you being a rookie and being a part of this locker room?
Been super welcoming, super just understanding that he's the guy here, but he also allows us to kind of be ourselves and kind of grow, and doesn't try to like take too much away from our games with his game. And I think when he talks about the trust, like I think our whole group has just understood to kind of think less about themselves and more about the group and give more. So I think the biggest thing he's done for me is just give.
Charlotte's a lot different team than when we played them last time. Martin being back really adds an element to their team that they did not have, and they're gonna be very difficult to play from here going forward. And very tough game. Plenty of stretches where we didn't do great things, but we hung in. And Myles Turner down the stretch was tremendous. Shot making and ones, made three in the corner, block shot to seal the game. Big time stuff. And so happy for him. And 41 games doesn't feel like 41 games, but it is. And the next 41 will go by pretty fast too.
You guys were down 3, I think, with 1:12 to go, and ended up winning pretty handily with great play down the stretch. What stood out to you about the final minute or so you guys played in this game?
We're getting a lot of clutch experience, over the last month, and probably even longer period than that. So we're getting a lot of experience in clutch games, and we're not perfect, but we're gradually getting better, and we've got a great crowd that has helped us get over the hump in a lot of these games. And so there's no panic in this team. They're a group of believers, and with us it's all about being able to get some stops, because if we do that, we get momentum going the other way, we can score.
Myles just talked about trust being a big factor, but last year you guys struggled a little bit more in close games, and this year's team's been much better. What do you see as the biggest difference from year to year that's propelled you in these moments that you're getting so much of?
I've kind of wiped last year out of my memory. What's the point of even going there? This team is totally different. It's got a totally different spirit and a totally different love for each other, and a totally different commitment to each other. So, but the tough games is where you grow. This was a tough game. So one of those bend but don't break games. And Charlotte has got some great offensive players. Rozier is a great offensive player. Ball's a great offensive player. P.J. Washington was great tonight. Plumlee is a legitimate playmaking center that now is consistently making free throws. So, they throw a lot of stuff at you, and they're gonna keep getting better.
You talked about him a little already, but I felt like every time Myles would check in tonight, you guys would go on a little run. What stood out to you in the total package of the way he played today?
There's some guys that step on the floor and bring a presence, an energy, and a confidence to the game. I coached Jermaine O'Neal here for a stretch of 4 years, and Jermaine had that. And it was something that kind of quietly was uplifting to his teammates. And so, Myles is, he's in his prime. He's playing the best he's ever played. He's a bona fide, certified leader in our locker room. He does it the right way. He does it with actions and not words. and yet when he talks, people listen. So, I'm just real happy for him. He's a great guy, and down the stretch, he was tremendous. I can't say it enough.
I guess to keep going on Myles, you talked a little bit, I think it was yesterday, on how important he is to making the small lineup work. But I guess to delve further into that, like, what is it that he does that allows just sort of the rest of those pieces to fit? And as somebody who's kind of behind all those guys, there is a rim protector.
Well, I know you weren't in Philly, but I'm assuming you watched the game on TV. Well, he blocked 5 shots in that game. I think he blocked 4 tonight. Including let me see here. Yeah, 4 tonight, including the one that sealed the game. He erases mistakes, but he also is the ultimate traffic cop. He runs the show defensively, and we don't have a team of perfect defenders. We're a team of system defenders, and so a guy like Myles is very important.
Speaking of guys, system defenders, Buddy Hield comes up with a huge block that kind of starts that sequence. Just how important was that play he made on LaMelo also to get him fouled out, to kind of get you guys rolling on that stretch?
Yeah, Buddy makes plays. He makes a lot of plays in an NBA game. He's known for shooting, but he's underrated in other areas, and he has really good basketball instincts. So. That was a big play, but it was not a shock. We've seen him do those kinds of things before. So, this stretch is all these games are close. All these games teeter on 1 or 2 plays here and there, and to get over the hump in games like this, it's you got to be really together, and you got to have a great crowd. And so that's what we're living on right now.
What more do you know about TJ at this point?
Got his shoulder injury. Other than that, he was unable to return, obviously. And he'll get checked out tomorrow. We'll know more tomorrow. And so, we may have an update for you on Tuesday. We'll have to wait and see.
Just getting stops. Down the stretch, it was who's going to get the stop first. We were able to do that. Myles made some huge plays for us down the stretch. The pace of the game probably wasn't what was anticipated when you look at the rosters and look at how both teams play. But
it happens, and we just got to figure out a way to win.
What are these fourth quarters, these games like for you when you're playing a point guard like a LaMelo Ball or a Damian Lillard, and you two are going back and forth like you have lately?
It's fun. It's fun. I think you got to love the opportunities to play against other great players. It kind of comes down to who can make the most plays down the stretch. But I don't think it's about one-on-one matchups. I think obviously 5 guys on the floor, so just figuring out who can make plays down the stretch. I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit to do with it. I think that we just have a group of guys who are really connected, and down the stretch we're just really together. I think Coach trusts me with the ball in my hands, trusts me to make plays, and that's important.
How much is Myles making sort of everything else work on defense, especially with the small lineups you guys have? Just with keeping you guys in it, at least in the rebounding, the rim protection, and just how important is it just making all the other pieces fit?
Yeah, he's our anchor. Defensively, cleans up a lot of stuff. I think teams think twice about going in the paint with him down there. He blocks a ton of shots, grabs rebounds. That's important for us. You have a lot more confidence guarding the ball when you have a guy like that behind you. So just trusting him has helped a lot.
And how important is that, particularly as far as guarding the ball, for guys like Aaron and for Andrew? Younger defenders that are getting really big assignments. How important is it for?
Wait, so what?
You talk about guarding the ball with Myles behind you, especially when it's guys like Aaron and Andrew or young players who are getting really tough assignments right now. How much do you think that makes them better, knowing they've got Myles behind them to take some more chances, be some more confident in those assignments, to feel good in this?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. You have more confidence to get into the ball, taking a couple more risks when you have a guy like that behind you. And I think just all 5 of us are just very connected on the floor right now, offensively and defensively, no matter what the lineups are. We got a lot of guys who, really are together. And especially down the stretch, we play with, pretty much the same group, for the end of games. So we just have a lot of guys who know where each other's going to be, know what each other are thinking, and that's important.
You guys have been good this all year, but Myles and pick and roll tonight just seem like it's at a different level. Just how much better, smoother does that keep feeling, I guess, as you guys go on and get used to each other?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing different coverages every night. And I think that's, important for us is like, just figuring it out. I think every game is kind of like a chess game of figuring out what teams are doing. They blitzed us a little bit tonight, but for the most part, it was drop coverage where we feel very comfortable. So,
we were just able to. We feel really good when teams play drop against us, and we were just attacking it the right way.
All right, last one for me. Andrew gets 19 tonight. It seems like he's been looking for a shot more. You guys have maybe also been looking to set him up for more shots. Has that been a point of emphasis, basically? And what do you think Andrew's done lately to look for more offense and get some more shots?
I think it's just coming through the flow of the offense. I think that's the great part is we have a lot of guys who can just score through the flow of things.
And tonight, with LaMelo Gardner being in foul trouble, he's not going to, take as many risks as he shouldn't because he needs to be on the floor. So we're getting him the ball, allowing him to attack in space, and because Melo had fouls, he was able to score. But he was big for us, made a lot of big shots, especially in that third and that fourth quarter, second half. He was really big for us, so good for us.
You have any superstitions during Packers games?
No. I'm a recent Packer fan, so I have
No superstitions at all.
Yeah, it was a pretty ugly one today, but we were able to grind it out, like you said, and really just kind of just did what the game asked us to do today. Hard fought 4 quarters, and then at the end of the game, we needed points, and that's what we just did.
What did you think of Myles' effort specifically in the fourth quarter?
Man, that was ridiculous. I mean, he was huge. The block at the end of the game, I mean, that's what Myles does. That's why he's the best shot blocker in the league.
It seems like this group is almost always the more poised one late in games, which would be impressive anyway, but especially when you consider just how young this group is. What are you experiencing as somebody on the floor and helping provide a lot of that poise?
Down the stretch, as long as we're within like 10 points, I'm pretty confident that we're going to turn the game around and win the game. So at the beginning of the fourth quarter when we were down, I wasn't worried at all. Nobody on our team was worried because we knew when it's crunch time, we all we get stuff done.
I wanted to ask you about the confidence. Is that kind of the general belief in here? Do you think that's a big part of why these games are going so well down the stretch, the team's confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said in the previous thing, anybody that's across the floor from us, we can beat on any given night. So that's what I think everybody on this team believes A to Z, and that's why we continue to go out there and play well.